All right, welcome. Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you so much for your patience. A few technical difficulties, so we're about 30 seconds in here late. Thank you for bearing with us. My name is Adam Starnes, account manager here at MAD Security in Huntsville, Alabama. Thank you for taking the time out of your day to join us for today's important town hall webinar. I take care of our current clients here at MAD Security, assist with additional services, manage renewals, take your feedback, good or bad. Let us know how we can serve you better, what we can do more of. And then make sure that you're also getting 100% of what we promised that you would get, and hopefully even more. If this is your first time joining us here at MAD Security, we are a top 250 RPO MSSP here in Huntsville, Alabama, that focuses on protecting defense industrial-based businesses from evil, basically by simplifying cybersecurity challenges and providing expert guidance for CMMC compliance readiness. So to make it simple, we offer managed security services like SOC and vulnerability management and so on. Plus, we have the expert CMMC readiness prep team to make sure that you're ready to tackle CMMC with the DIPCAC or the C3PAO audit. So over this next 20 minutes or so, we're going to dive into some critical topics around CMMC 2.0 compliance, supply chain security, and how you can protect your contracts by securing your partners. Make sure you stick around until the end because we do have some exciting giveaways at the end, which are free, by the way, everyone's favorite word, and a live Q&A session. We often have more questions that we can get to during that 10 minutes or so that we have for Q&A set aside. We already have some questions that have come in previous to us even starting this. So if we do not get around to your question during this webinar, I do ask that you will still please go ahead and ask it, and we'll be following up with you after the town hall. Every question is definitely very important to us. We want to ensure that each of you get the answers that you need and you get what you were looking for out of this town hall. So whether that's during this or after, again, ask it. We'll definitely get back to you. So before we dive too deep in, let's talk about something that's definitely often overlooked. We often think of ourselves, our company, our CMMC readiness, because that's how we win, how we bid, how we keep DoD supply chain contracts. Everyone who relies on the DoD or defense industrial base supply chain to stay in business, or if you rely on it to make up a large part of your business, now understands that CMMC is real, it's here to stay, and the requirements are already being passed down. We're seeing it all over the place with our current clients as well as prospects that we're talking to. But what about your favorite suppliers? The ones that you rely on every day to deliver your services or your products. What happens if they go away? Poof. Because they didn't take CMMC compliance seriously. Are you ready for that? There are many companies like this. Maybe you're one of them, or maybe you have a supplier in mind right now that has that mindset. One that's been procrastinating, pushing it off. They're really not worried about it because it's not yet required or it's not real. That means that you're going to be stuck scrambling to find another supplier. You're going to be slowed down, potentially face a damaged reputation because you couldn't fulfill an order on time because you had to find another supplier last minute. Whenever this goes into play, it's going to be serious. It's going to be something that you're going to want to take very seriously for not only yourself, but your supply chain. So you don't want to be like Bailey Zimmerman, caught between a rock and a hard place. That was a joke for you people that are country music fans, but seriously, you do not want to be looking for suppliers last minute. Nor do you want to be the wrench that slows everything down for one of your primes or your clients further up the supply chain. Don't be the reason that your client gets disqualified. So that was a lot, I know, for the intro. We're going to cover a few things here today, which are going to include how primes are tightening the supply chain security, risks of ignoring subcontractors' compliance, how to help your partners get compliant, and then at the end, we'll talk a little bit about how MAD Security can help you with supply chain referral assistance and simplified readiness. So let's start with the big picture. Primes are cracking down on supply chain security already like never before. They've been saying it's coming for a long time. It's really just now starting to show fruition. They're requiring documentation to provide evidence of compliance, not just from their own teams, but every subcontractor and supplier down the chain. For primes, your supply chain is a direct reflection of your ability to secure controlled unclassified information, or CUI. If your subcontractors aren't secure, you aren't secure. And you can also get in legal trouble if you attest that your recipients are compliant and they're not. They must attest that suppliers below them who receive potential CUI flow down are compliant, and those suppliers must ensure that any further flow down recipients are also compliant. You cannot just say that your subs are doing it. You must prove it. Under the False Claims Act, knowingly submitting false statements or certification can lead to criminal charges, financial penalties, whistleblower lawsuits, and so forth. I can't mention names here. Just heard a big story not too long ago. It was a big company. They were signing off that they were CMMC compliant ready. So a guy gets let go, gets fired, whatever the story is. He leaves, blows the whistle, says, hey, they're signing that they're doing this and they're not. He was awarded a lot of money for exposing that particular company. And this is something that you could be at risk of. You don't want to falsely attest that you're CMMC compliant ready or logging in that you've got an SPRS score of 110 unless you actually do. So the question is, are you going to risk it? Or is it cheaper, safer, better for you and your reputation, your contract opportunities, for you to go ahead and get and remain CMMC compliant ready? So what happens if your subcontractors aren't compliant? Well, you've got the risk of losing contracts, increased vulnerability to cyber threats, potential legal and financial consequences, and damage to your reputation. We always hear you have a risk of losing contracts. We always hear you're not going to be able to bid that, you're going to lose the contract. And in the end, that is basically what everyone's doing CMMC for. But I do want to point something out here. An increased vulnerability to cyber threats is a real thing. We see people get attacked. We see ransomware all the time. It's something that you need to take seriously as well. It's not just checking a box, but it's literally protecting the data that you have, saving your company money, protecting you from bad things that can happen. That's why we say we protect businesses from evil. It sounds kind of quirky from one side, but that's what we're really doing. There's evil people, evil things out there that are coming after us, and that's what you're doing. And then another one here that people often overlook is damage to the reputation. Once you've had to drop off a contract or you had to drop out of a bid because you were not CMMC compliant ready, what are they going to think of next time that they see all these companies bidding on it? If a subcontractor's work involves handling CUI, they're required to meet CMMC level 2 compliance in most cases. Some 1, some 3, the majority's at level 2. And while it's up to each company to get themselves compliant ready, it's wise to ensure that you're doing business with partners who will also be able to continue operating within the defense industry base in that supply chain. Otherwise, you could be left scrambling, like we said earlier, looking for new suppliers at the last minute, and that's a risk that no one really wants to deal with. So that's why you're seeing primes, including the DFAR 7-12 clause in contracts. You're sending out, the primes are sending out questionnaires. They're not just checking boxes. They're making sure that they can keep doing business with the DoD and that you're going to be able to go ahead and take that ride with them as well. So why this is such a big deal? Primes are required to sign off that both they and everyone in their supply chain that is handling CUI or potentially going to touch the CUI are fully CMMC compliant ready. Again, false statements can lead to violations of the False Claims Act and even criminal charges. That's why you're getting those questionnaires. If you're a subcontractor in that supply chain, you're getting it. You're getting these emails saying, where are you at? Let me see your POAM. They're requesting things from you. I know I've already touched on this, but again, the false claims is a huge risk. I've also seen companies win big contracts over companies simply because the primes needed those companies to meet the DFARS or NIST 800 requirements. One supplier was fully compliant while the other was not. The one that was won the contract. We're seeing this happen now. Do you not think that this will also lead to more repeat business and more opportunities for you down the line? If you win the first time, I think you're going to get a pretty good shot at getting it the next time. This is a huge opportunity if you decide that staying in the DIB supply chain is worth it for you and your company, but especially if you're a prime or even a mid-tier supplier. Pay close attention to your entire supply chain. It's a risk that many overlook. Many companies have exited the DoD because it's not worth the investment to them. And I've seen contractors sell their businesses. It's your decision of whether it's worth staying in the DIB supply chain or not. But if it is, getting CMMC compliant ready, eventually certified by C3PAO, and tracking your supply chain readiness can give a huge competitive advantage to you in the market. So here's the good news. You do not have to tackle this alone. Many of our clients are seeing incredible success by taking the proactive approach and helping their partners get compliant, not leaving them behind. So how can you help your partners? Okay, there's several ways that you can help your partners. First of all, we talked about this earlier, send them a questionnaire. Find out what their CMMC status is, their POAM, get their plans and the supporting evidence. You want to be able to help with this. Be the motivator that's pushing them to go ahead and do it. Talk to them about why it could help them in the future business. If you're close to them, you're close to the management, you're close to your point of contact over there, and they have a little pull in the business, call them. Call the management team. Make a personal ask. It can go a long way. Give them reasonable deadlines. Set clear expectations. Let them know what's needed and by when. Ask them to share their progress and status. Stay in the loop so that you're not surprised by them later. And then share your own journey. Tell them how you became CMMC compliant, who you used to assist you, and what worked for you. Talk about the benefits. Emphasize how much you value the partnership and that you want to remain partners. Let them know that you don't want them to miss out on the contracts and you don't want to lose them as a supplier. I'm telling you right now, if you have this conversation with one of your favorite suppliers, you say, hey, Jim Bob, I really love our relationship. This has been a great partnership so far. I've been talking to your leadership team or your IT team, and I've heard you're not really taking this CMMC thing seriously. Listen, I value you as a partner. I want to keep you on my contract. But if we're going to remain partners, I don't want you missing out on this one nor other contracts, seeing your business go down. I don't want to lose you as a supplier. So maybe you should seriously take into consideration getting CMMC compliant ready. Have that conversation with the ones you love. They'll appreciate it. They'll come back to you one day, man, tell you what, Joe, I am very glad that you made me do that, or you taught me into taking it seriously. Make sure you're covered and have checked thoroughly. That's how you're going to avoid last minute surprises and to keep your contract secure. So I promise you, really not trying to be salesy here, but also if your conversations aren't enough or you just don't know how to talk about it with them. Maybe you only know this on a high level. You only know it because you have to do it yourself. Again, not trying to make a salesy pitch here, but point them to madsecurity.com, to our CMMC page. I can guarantee you that if there's anything that you need to know about CMMC, whether if it's what is CMMC, how to get ready for it, scoping, trying to find out where CUI enters, where it stays, how it exits, preparing for the audit maybe. It's on our website at madsecurity.com. And it's not, here's this, click here, we're going to sell you something. It's truly educational. It's something that anybody can go to. We've got a lot of students. We've got a lot of other CMMC prep companies, by the way. Come to our page, fill some forms out to request even a more additional documentation, just so that they can learn more about CMMC, what it is, deadlines, and so forth. So if you're trying to talk to your suppliers or trying to talk to your leadership, maybe you're a IT director for your company and leadership's like, yeah, I don't know yet, don't know if we're going to do that, or the supply chain's like, don't know if it's real yet or not. Point them to madsecurity.com, to the CMMC page, and you will find so much documentation there to help you along the way. So we ask our clients all the time, basically what I just suggested to you. Do you have any favorite suppliers that you want to make sure that are CMMC compliant ready so that you can continue to use them after CMMC goes official? Some people haven't really thought about it and they get back to me later. Others make the introduction immediately because they know how crucial it is. Now, one client in particular, I reached out. I said, hey, won't use his real name. Said, hey, Steve, you've got the supply chain. They're going to have to be compliant ready. What are you doing to take steps? I know that you are almost to a 110 yourself and ready to be audited. What are you doing for the supply chain? And the cool thing was he was actually already sending out emails to his favorite companies and suppliers internally and asking them what their status was. But he said, I need a more simplified way to ask about their CMMC status and collect their supporting evidence. He said, can you help me create a questionnaire? So he and I collaborated together. We created a questionnaire for him to send to everyone within their supply chain who might touch the CUI. They got several responses back pretty quickly. He was actually kind of afraid he was going to send this out and get blown off, but people took it seriously because this is a medium to large size company. A lot of companies are attached there. Got a lot of responses back. And then us, as in MAD Security, offered to help their contract manager review all the questionnaires as they come back in, but they had already taken it seriously enough to allocate resources so that they could look through them and see where everyone stands. But the key is they took action. They saw that this was coming. They said, let's get this questionnaire put together. Let's get it sent out to everyone. And that's one way that we could help you. We offered to review those with contract managers so that we could actually reach out. So if you're wondering how that process might work, this is how MAD Security might make it easier for you. It could be a long process, especially if you have a lot of suppliers. Basically, what we did with that particular client is we can let you basically send an email directly to us, copy in the supplier or the point of contact there that's not at that full 110 SPRS score, and we'll take it from there. Basically, we'll talk to them. We'll say, we've worked with such and such, or maybe you didn't work with us before, but we'll say that Jim Bob sent you our way, and we are going to help you get CMMC compliant ready. And we'll have that full conversation there. Or something else that we can do, and we've done this several times, we can collaborate with you to come up with a game plan that works for you, and then you can tell your suppliers directly, if you wish, that they use MAD Security and they have a special package put in place. And basically it would be something that we come up with to gauge where everyone's at, what they need to do to get compliant, and go from there. And then we'll work with them directly or with you, however we want to set it up, to determine exactly what they need and go from there. We're going to try to make this as easy and painless as possible. Let's build a process to where if you've got 10 people that you're really relying on for business and none of them are CMMC compliant ready yet, that it's not going to be a heavy lift for you. We're going to try to make it as, again, easy and painless as possible. After all, you're going to need to ensure that your suppliers and partners are compliant anyway if you plan on using them. So why not have a preferred partner in place, someone who is already CMMC level 2 certified themselves. If you were not in the last webinar, I know we had a few technical difficulties with getting that one broadcasted out. We actually just became CMMC level 2 certified ourselves as a MAD Security, and we've helped dozens of clients get ready for their C3PA audits and actually pass them at this point. So we have a proven process that works. So we are here to be that partner, someone that you can trust, someone that you're willing to send anyone our way, and you know that we're going to help them get fully compliant so that your supply chain and your contracts are protected. Even if we're not the right fit after you talk to us, that's okay. Just let us help you build your roadmap. Bounce ideas off of us. You deserve clarity, even if you go another route. We're not offended. We're not everybody's best perfect fit. So now we're at the Q&A session. I hope the content that we had in the presentation itself was beneficial for you. This is your chance to engage directly with me. and with MAD Security. If you have questions about your supply chain, about your partners, how to get them CMMC compliant ready, go ahead and drop it in the chat. Now, again, we already had a few questions come in. We've had some come in since we've been on this webinar, so we will cover as many as we can today, and then we'll follow up with any that we cannot get to in this next few minutes. Because again, we are going to have a little bit of time here at the end to do the giveaways and offerings before we wrap up. So I'll go ahead and kind of get right into it. I've got questions sent to me that says, what is the difference from being CMMC ready and being certified? It's a great question. I know I mentioned being CMMC ready in some parts, being certified, and the answer is really this. Being CMMC ready means that you've done the work. You've closed all the gaps, you've met all the controls, you've documented your evidence, you're ready for a C3PAO audit. But being certified actually means that you've gone through the third-party assessment. You've earned that official recognition that you've passed it. Most companies need to be ready right now so that you can compete, you can respond to flow downs and avoid risk. And then you'll get officially certified when the DoD inserts the requirement in a contract, or you can do like we did, or many of our proactive clients have done so far, and they go ahead and engage with the C3PAO and get audited now so that they can go ahead and be certified and get that out of the way. It's actually what I recommend. Again, that's what MAD Security did. We have been CMMC ready for a long while, but we chose to get certified by C3PAO before we're technically required, because it gives us the competitive advantage. Plus, it shows our dedication to the DIB and CMMC. Great question. Another one came in here. Gentleman asked, does every supplier in my supply chain need to be CMMC level 2 certified? Okay, so answer is not necessarily. But if they're touching, storing, or transmitting CUI, then yes. Or if they have the potential to, then yes, they must meet CMMC level 2 requirements. If they're purely commercial or don't interact with CUI, there's no way possible that they'll ever touch it. They may not need to be, but it's your responsibility as a prime or contractor to verify and document that. Again, great question. I'm loving it. Keep them coming on in. We'll go through as many as we can here, maybe 3, 4 more. So what proof should I ask my suppliers for? Yeah, so if you're asking in regards to like proof for them being CMMC ready or where they're at minimum, I would ask, what is your SPRS score? Did you self-assess, or did you have a third party come in and do that assessment for you? Ask for a copy of their System Security Plan, or SSP, or at least the summary of it. You can tell really quick once you see that if they're actually doing what they're supposed to be doing, or you might realize there's a documentation gap, which means they're not ready. You can have all the controls implemented and them not have the documentation for it, and it doesn't matter. You've got to have it documented as well. Ask for their POAM, plan of action and milestones. If they aren't fully compliant, you can need that. You can kind of see what's left. And then ideally, if you could get a letter of attestation from the compliance officer or a third-party partner or someone in that company in the C-suite just saying that we are ready, if they're claiming to be, you need documented proof, not just verbal assurances. That's what protects you from liability. Awesome question. All right, this one's not really one in supply chain questions, but I think it's a great one. We get asked this all the time. How long does it typically take to become CMMC compliant? And you're not going to like the answer, and it really depends. Where are you starting at? For companies starting from scratch, it could take 6 to 18 months, depending on the scope, resources, the time available, effort. Don't forget that maturity matters. Whenever they come in to do the audit, they want to see 90 to 180 days of something being implemented to show that you're actually doing it, not that you like started it last week and say that you've been doing it all this time. And for those that already have like a strong NIST 800 foundation in place, you might could finish it out in 30 to 90 days. just to close remaining gaps, to help you prep for the assessment. So it's a broad answer, but it's the truth. Good. Let's see, we'll get 2 or 3 more here. This one says, what if one of my key suppliers refused to get compliant? So that's a tough one, especially if you've worked with them. We covered that a few slides back. I'd recommend go listen to that particular slide over again to get a little more detail on this, but I'll go back over it briefly. You got to be real with them. If they refuse to get there, it's a business decision. They either want to do business in the defense industrial base or they don't. You can try offering resources, make some introductions, like maybe to Mad Security or someone else that you believe in that can get them there. You can give them a deadline, but ultimately, if it puts your contract at risk, you may need to just replace them. We've seen clients go through it, and it's not fun, but it is necessary. Then how can Mad Security help my suppliers? This is another question that came in. We did cover this one, so I'll skim through it briefly again. Again, we can offer custom tailored onboarding, gap assessments, policy support, technical guidance, help your suppliers come ready. Again, if you're talking about how can we do this as far as getting engaged, you could copy us in on an email. But if you're not a current client of ours now, you don't know us yet either, most likely. So what you could do is actually set a meeting with me, or I could put you in touch with the appropriate AE that we have here at Mad Security. And what we'll do is have that conversation with you, first of all, to see what your goals are. We don't have like a one size fits all solution. What we try to do is listen to what your needs are, and then let's collaborate and let's put something together that's actually going to make sense for you. Not just say this is the only way to do it, take it or leave it from that point. So it's relatively painless, fast. We can get your supply chain moving in the right direction. And if you need help yourself, we can do that also. All right, I've got several more questions here, but we are just going to hit one more now because we do need to move on to the giveaways to be respectful of your time here. So this question is, if I'm not working on a DoD contract right now, should I still prepare for CMMC? Okay. We touched on something similar to this a little while ago, which is business decisions. If you want to stay eligible, or you're even thinking about bidding in the future, then that's a yes. Primes are asking for compliance now. They're sending out questionnaires now. They're putting requirements in the contracts now. So, contracts are already including the deforest clause. And we've seen companies miss out on opportunities because they weren't ready when the door opened. So if you foresee yourself chasing this business, then yes. And if not, then of course not. But do remember that it is much harder to rush into compliance readiness than it is to stay ahead of it. If you're going to do it, go ahead and make it easier and cheaper on yourself. Go ahead and get started now. All right. I hope that answered the questions for you. If not, or if you want me to further elaborate on anything, or if I didn't cover it in the viewpoint that you were looking for, please send us another question here. I'll get back to it, or I'll put my email up here in just a moment. You can get my email as well. Feel free to reach out with those questions at any time. That's going to be a wrap on the Q&A today. Again, I will reach out to everyone after this. So what we are going to get into now is the giveaways and the free consultation. So we do have several things that Mad Security can offer you to say thank you for coming to join our town hall webinar today. The first thing that we have up top here is the free pre-assessment. This is if you want to know where your business currently stands against CMMC controls. You can take this approximately 31 pre-assessment questions. It's going to be a simple yes, no, don't know. And as you go through it, it's going to give us a pretty good idea on where you stand against the CMMC controls. We also have a free master bundle. If you want to understand some things like building a CUI enclave, or where does my CUI go? How do I map my CUI? Several valuable pieces. I believe about 5 different pieces of information inside this master bundle that are going to be very beneficial to you. You can get that as well by going to go.madsecurity.com/CMMC-bundle. You'll also get a copy of the slide deck after to refer back to. The next thing we have here for you, free CMMC assessment guide. So let's say you say, I'm pretty sure I'm an SPRS score of 110. I'm ready to go. But what does it look like now? Then you can go here. It's going to be a complete roadmap to certification to be successful during that process, things that you may not have thought about, pitfalls that you can avoid. So definitely check that out as well. And then the last thing that I have here on this slide is the free consultation. You can either meet with myself, or if you're not a current client, you can meet with me, and I'll also bring along the appropriate AE that is in your territory as well. We are nationwide, so anywhere in the United States, please feel free to reach out to us. We have clients all over all 50 states. Set up some time up with me. Let's have a conversation about what you're currently doing with cybersecurity and CMMC compliance readiness and see if and how we might be able to assist. Or if it has to do with your supply chain, we can have that conversation as well. Again, my email is here, astarnes@madsecinc.com. Again, astarnes@madsecinc.com. Or my meeting link is below. That'll actually take you straight to my calendar, and you can book a time that works best for you. So that's our giveaways. Again, we will have this posted so that you are able to go back to it and view those links at any time. Before we go, I've got a couple more things I wanted to share with you. If you'll just bear with me for another moment. We have the save the dates for the upcoming town hall webinars. If this is something that you've enjoyed, maybe this is your 5th one to attend, maybe this is your first. If you enjoy it, here are the rest of the dates for the rest of 2025. Go ahead and mark those calendars. All of them are going to be at 2 p.m. Central Time so that you can go ahead and put it on the calendar, make sure that you're there. All right, and that wraps it up for today. I want to thank you all so much for spending time with me. Remember that securing your supply chain is not just about compliance. It's also about protecting your future, growing your business, keeping the competitive edge and the DIB. I'm here for you beyond today. If questions come up, reach out anytime. Let's keep driving forward together, and may you have a great and blessed afternoon. Thank you so much.